Hi, and welcome back to The Last Goodbye. You're here today with Jason and Tim.
Hello.
Tim.
Hi, Jace.
Kenton Ross Funerals. We're funeral directors on the north side of Brisbane, just here to give some information out to the community. Today's episode, we're going to talk a little bit about what to do when somebody dies. Depending on time, we'll go through a few different scenarios and we might share a few stories with you. So, lock in. Let's go, guys.
It's a big question, Jace, and you've been doing this for a long time, so I don't know. I don't want to know how many times you've answered that phone when a family's called just after someone's passed away. Lot of raw emotion over the phone, and I think a lot of it. Obviously, it's a crazy time when someone passes away, but a lot of it comes from the confusion as well. People feel when they've lost a loved one, and depending on the circumstances, like you said there, it can be pretty straightforward sometimes. Not to take anything away from how hard it is, but it can be pretty straightforward. It can be very, very complicated.
Absolutely.
So
even the simple things can become complicated if there aren't measures in place to start with.
correct. And there's too many factors that are at play to discuss them all in one episode. But I figured, if we cover off some of the top ones, things like the location, we don't really need to go into the hows and whys of things like that, but more or less just the logistics behind it.
We're probably looking at locations and general circumstances, not the ins and outs of every single death.
Yes,
so
it's too
just
hard.
so you've got a bit of general information depending on what's happened and what's going on.
All right. So I think in particular, location is the biggest one. That's going to pretty much dictate how, the next steps following someone's passing.
Absolutely.
I mean, the biggest one I think that we deal with is someone's passed away in hospital.
Yes.
That's obviously where they're at. Someone's ill. They might be in palliative care. It might be still a little bit sudden, but the point is there's doctors around and they're pretty, in most circumstances, they're aware of why the passing has taken place.
So most of the time when you're looking at a hospital death, most of the time it's either expected or there's circumstances involved that the staff there know why. But and the staff at the hospitals will generally show families what they need to do. But it's always good to know what the processes are behind that, because the hospital also have their own set of protocols that they have to take care of. And sometimes dealing with the funeral directors after death isn't really high on the agenda, but we're not there for that purpose. Like hospitals are there to help people, and we're there to come in afterwards.
Yeah. Process-wise, I would say that the hospitals is one of the easiest for families to get their head around.
Oh, absolutely. So typically the hospitals will just take care of the paperwork. That will be ready. And then all families have to do is call your funeral director, and they should know from the hospital what to do.
Exactly.
So there's really maybe two different types of hospital scenarios that come up to play in that where the paperwork's ready and we know that death was coming and a certificate was written. So certificate, when we refer to a certificate, is a medical cause of death certificate in this scenario.
That's an important one.
And we'll explain the difference of that in a later podcast because you get a medical cause of certificate from a doctor saying why someone's died. But then at the end of the day, you'll also get a certified death certificate from the Registry of Births, Deaths and Marriages, which is basically your estate purposes, your official document.
And that comes out later after the funeral.
Later has to come after a funeral, or after a body has been removed from the state. So it is some of those legal things that are going to come into play, but that's us to navigate, and we'll explain that to you in a later podcast. But so once that certificate's written, then the funeral director can go to the hospital and take that loved one into care.
This takes up to 48 hours.
Up to
sometimes.
48 hours,
Sometimes even a little longer sometimes.
Depending on the hospital.
Your loved one would be in a good facility.
In the care facility at the hospital. We refer to those as mortuary. Yeah. And, for the principles of what we're doing, we're going to be kind of candid in some of the speak that we use.
Yep.
So that's a mortuary at a hospital.
Mm-hmm.
They're a care facility for families, for the loved ones, and then funeral directors are the only ones that can attend most of those mortuaries.
Yes.
And then they'll go there and take the loved ones into care.
Yeah.
We have to get a permission form from next of kin to say, yep, you can go to that mortuary and pick up that loved one at that point in time,
That's right.
but only after that certificate has been written.
Yeah, I think a lot of families give us a call, and a lot of people are expecting us to
Yeah.
just get in the car and head straight
Hey,
there.
straight there. But there's a couple of things that need to take care of first. Mostly that release form and that medical cause of death certificate that the hospitals have to produce.
Yeah,
And that's for most hospitals. Certainly a lot of the ones that we deal with. There are a few that we deal with that actually don't have one of those care facilities on premises. So when that happens, you don't often get that medical cause of death certificate at the time.
no, unless you're lucky. If the doctor's there and happens to sign it, it makes it a lot easier.
It's a bit of a roadblock for us all the time, which is why we probably chuckle at this point in time because, we need that certificate to do a lot of things that we do, but we don't
Yep.
always get it when we want it. But no, there's usually some private hospitals that don't have a mortuary. So if death occurs in one of those hospitals, a doctor, a nurse will write what they call a life extinct certificate.
Yep.
Now, this certificate is not a medical cause of death certificate, not saying why the person has died. All the certificate does is say, yes, this person has passed away.
Yeah,
And that's it. So
filled out by someone in a medical
in
capacity.
a medical capacity, saying that yes, at my medical
checked this,
capacity,
this.
we've
Yep.
checked this person and they've deceased.
Yeah,
So at that point in time, a couple of things happens. The staff at the hospital will, confirm that a certificate will be written.
yes.
So they go, yep, this person's might be on their patient file. They might give the after hours doctor a call and say, yes, or it might be 9 to 5. That'd be great for our job. But
yeah. Not the way it happens, unfortunately.
no, lots of midnight calls. But once we know that a certificate is coming, we can perform a transfer for that loved one at that point in time with
Yep.
the life extinct certificate. So for a family point of view, if someone passes away in a hospital and you don't know what to do, or the hospital might be giving you information that you're not sure about, just call your funeral home.
Oh, look, that's
They will tell you what needs to happen.
going to do it. Yeah.
And they don't mind taking a phone call at 1 o'clock in the morning
no,
or any
no,
time.
you don't, do you, buddy?
Anytime. So
Yeah,
so hospitals, when someone has died, they've got a medical cause of death certificate, and there's a mortuary at the hospital. You contact the funeral director whenever you want, and you get a release form, and then we can go to the hospital, take that loved one into care. If that hospital does not have a care facility or a mortuary, then the hospital will usually ask the family, hey, who's your funeral director? And then you just call the funeral director, and then they can come in and do the transfer immediately.
and that actually leads us into our next thing, which is nursing homes. What if someone passes away at a nursing home? Very common.
Yep.
That's more or less exactly the same situation. The staff there will talk to the family and say, hey, what are your plans? Which funeral home would you like us to call? And it's the same deal. One of the professionals, usually the registered nurses or the head of nursing there at the nursing home, will identify that the person has passed away. They'll perform a list of checks and then sign the life extinct form, which is to say, yes, this person has indeed passed away. I believe that they also try and touch base with the doctor, even if it's after hours.
Yes,
they'll
so
try and touch base.
Typically they will notify the doctor. A lot of the doctors, especially with the nursing homes, have got an after hours number or a daytime number. Their staff will know which people they are taking care of within that nursing home.
Yeah.
So they will then advise what's to go on. But most of the time, they're all under the care of a doctor there. So the doctor will say, yes, this person will be receiving that medical cause of death certificate.
Yeah.
Write a life extinct certificate, and then the funeral director can come and take that person into care, which is the same thing. So family or the nursing home can then call the funeral director and say, this person is ready to be collected. We'll come in, take them into care, and process the paperwork in the days to come.
Yeah, much more straightforward than the next situation, which I'm going to throw up, which is what to do when someone passes away at home, whether expected or unexpectedly.
Yeah.
I mean, all death is always hard in its own way. When someone's when it's not expected, that's an entirely different kettle of fish. But we might start with someone at home who's passed away, but it was expected. They've seen a doctor. Very similar situation. We're just probably adding a point in there where we give the ambulance a call or maybe a care.
So depends on your situation at home. So quite often, know that from past experiences with family and our own family, if someone is in that position where they're unwell and they might even be in palliative care, but they want to pass away at home, they've gone home. Their care professionals know what's going to happen. They've gone home because they know that they're going to die. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. We know we want to be surrounded by family at that point.
Yeah.
You know,
If people
so-
can make that work, we hear stories all the time, and we head out to houses where this has happened, and it's sad, but it's a beautiful moment
Yeah,
to see
you know,
that someone's been looked after by their own family in their own home.
Caring for someone in a palliative sense, and this goes on to things, and we're
Yeah.
going to open up doors and go down
Exactly, yeah.
down paths,
Yeah.
and we'll try not to stray too far.
No.
But the ability to care for someone in a palliative care setting at home is a very difficult one, depending on the level of care that's needed. But there are some beautiful teams around, especially on our neck of the woods that we deal with all the time.
Yeah.
There's some dedicated community care palliative teams. They'll come out, they do a lot of the cares, and they'll come out and help out with that point of time. But you then get to spend that time as a family,
Yeah.
You got that time with the family, with that person while they're dying.
Yeah. And this is not to say anything bad about the amazing palliative care teams at hospitals. I only
Absolutely.
hear amazing stuff about those guys, and they're all incredible for what they do. It's a hard thing, and a lot of people sort of ask us as funeral directors, how do you do what you do? Man, I don't know how they do what they do.
Oh,
that is the hard
that's
end of
heart-wrenching,
the stuff.
some of
Yeah,
it.
absolutely. But yes, 100%. Passing away at home and having that support of a good palliative care team that's going to come out and support you guys is amazing.
Yeah.
So when somebody passes away at home, if you've got one of those teams there, they're going to know what to do anyway. It's
So
just about
it's going to be a
allocating
very
funeral
similar
home.
situation to the private hospital or a nursing home.
Correct. Yeah.
You'll call that palliative care team. They'll send one of their registered nurses out. They'll write that life extinct certificate, and then you're free to call the funeral director when you're ready for them to come and take your loved one.
That's it. Yeah.
Yep.
Now let's deal with the harder end of things. What if someone passes away, even if it's expected, but unexpectedly, but there's no doctor who's going to be signing that certificate. It wasn't something that they were being treated for. It might be something that was sudden and traumatic, and it happens at home, and you're sort of in control of the situation. Who's your first call to it? This should be pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it's probably a pretty easy one. It's triple O.
Yeah, 100%.
You call triple O and they ask who do you want to speak to, and basically you're either going to be going to ambulance or police straight away.
Yeah.
If there's an active medical event going on, get the ambulance out there straight away.
Yep.
Or if you've come upon a scene where things that someone's died, tell them, get the police. But those guys on the other end of the phone, again, they do a brilliant job for our community.
Absolutely.
They'll direct you in the right direction.
Yeah. It's important to be as clear as possible with your communication with that stuff. And that goes without saying. Obviously, it's a very traumatic time. But the clearer you can be with all of the details, the better they're going to be able to assist you. So let's say that the person's, they've passed away. We've called the ambulance and the police have both turned up. And they're investigating the situation. They say, look, there's no doctor who's going to be signing this off. We're going to have to take the next step. And this is a bit of a scary word, and families don't like hearing the word coroner.
Yep.
It comes with the association of autopsies and
Yes.
and that sort of thing. And we're not going to shy away from that sort of talk. We want to go into the details, but this is a very real thing. I actually don't think it's as bad as people think it is.
Not these days.
No, 100%.
No. So coroner's there just to make sure that the right processes happen. So once they've established that the death does not have a doctor to write that medical cause of death certificate for, then the immediate process for the police is to organise an undertaker or someone to transfer that body from where they've passed away through to the coronial care centre.
Yeah.
And at that point in time, there's an investigation that happens there. And then they can issue one of those medical causes of death certificate there without,
And that's
without an invasive autopsy as well.
That's the thing, and that's happening more and more these days.
Yep.
They're getting a larger team of doctors at the. Well, look, I should clarify. This is all in Queensland, Queensland specific. If you're listening outside of Queensland, maybe a lot of this won't apply to you.
Yep. It is very very similar across some of the states,
there you
given what we know. But
Yeah.
we are speaking that we are Brisbane-based funeral directors.
That's
so
right. Yeah. And I've lost where I was, what I was saying.
We're going
there,
to the
Jace.
coroners, and their facilities have changed and improved.
Sorry, yeah. So there's much more instances of people being issued a cause of death certificate based on the doctors looking up medical records. They're not doing anything invasive. They're not even there's no incision. Sometimes they'll take a blood sample or something like that. It's very simple as a small jab in the arm that you or I would have, and that will happen sometimes even in a situation where it's not a traumatic passing and it's just someone's passed away in their sleep, but there just doesn't happen to be a doctor around to sign that certificate. But it doesn't mean it's scary. It's nothing crazy.
Absolutely.
It's just we're just making sure everything's done
As far as
correctly.
the checks and balances go, it can be as simple as we can't contact a doctor right now.
Oh, exactly. Yes.
The next day the doctor gets a message bank, calls the police back, calls the family back, and yes, he's been under care. We weren't really expecting them to pass away, but I know why. So, and then a certificate gets written and we just keep on flowing.
Yeah. In that time, the loved one's usually probably been transferred over to the coronial facility for holding. They're a good bunch of people over there. It's a great facility where they'll be safe and sound. And in that time, that's when we're contacting the funeral director. Did I miss something there? Did I miss a beat there?
No, I think it's pretty
I think
covered.
that's pretty straightforward.
It does sound simple, but
No,
it's scary.
That's right.
If you're having to call ambulance and police because a loved one's passed away, emotional heightening, it's not a great time. But
it's important to remember you're doing the right thing by doing that. It's the best thing for that person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we can figure out exactly what's happened. Professional people who know a lot more than me and Jace will be stepping in to figure out what's happened and get all of that paperwork in order for you. If someone's passed away at home, Jace, and you're there and it's going to be a little while until a funeral director arrives, let's say that, yes, the doctor will be signing a certificate and you've got, let's say that, we'll be there in an hour, we'll be there in 6 hours. Sometimes it's 24 hours if you're out in a rural area. I'm not 100%.
Yeah.
If you're in charge of looking after this person for that little bit of time, is there anything that you should be looking out for? One thing that stands out to me is if you can chuck an air conditioner on and keep the area as cool as possible, that's the best thing that you can do.
Yep.
Is there? I could go on for ages about this sort of thing, but we're running out of time.
We don't expect families to be nurses.
No,
We don't expect families to do our job. But, in terms of caring for someone that has passed away, if they're in a cool room, you're there with them. Sometimes people will, open their mouths and open their eyes when they've passed away. And, you're perfectly fine just to, maybe close the eyelids. And you can even chuck a towel under their chin so their mouth is closed. But it's all perfectly natural.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's perfectly natural for it not to happen.
Man.
The amount of things that we could say that is right and is wrong.
Yeah.
It kind of contradicts each other depending on each case.
I have expectations whenever I walk into the mortuary here at work to care for someone. I have expectations, and I'm never met by those expectations. It's always different to what I think I'm going to
Everyone's always
look after.
A little bit different. There's nothing that we need majorly done.
Yeah.
If say you are waiting for a funeral director and you see a little bit of an access issue getting into where the person has passed away, maybe move a little bit of furniture, move the thing off the ground.
Yeah.
Have you got a car in the driveway that might need to be pulled out? But that's all.
Great
And
point.
you know what happens? If we get there and none of that's done, we'll help you do it.
Exactly.
It's just,
Yeah, it's
There's
just
just
what
things
you
to-
what you
whatever
feel
you're comfortable with.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Jace, is there anything else you want to touch on in this? Or
Look, I could keep going on and on and on and on. So I would love to throw it out to you guys listening and, bring in some of your questions and let me know what you think and what specifics you might want to ask. And we'll answer those as we go on. But at the end of the day, if someone's passed away and you really, really, really don't know what to do, call 000.
Yes, 100%.
And
Doesn't
then,
matter the situation.
Other than that, we are here 24/7. Take a phone call and answer questions as well.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a great chat, and I really like the idea of opening this up to other people to listen in on and hear. Thanks so much, Jace, and
No
thanks
worries.
everyone for sticking with us.
All right, thanks for listening to The Last Goodbye, and we'll see you next episode.